Hello again, French 1. Everything you need for your Prendre notes is actually right here on the screen right now. It's in a little different format than what it is on your actual notes, so be a little bit careful as you jot this down, but everything is here on the screen, so just go ahead and follow along and take your notes as I talk to you about it. First thing you need to know about the verb prendre is that even though it does end in the letters RE, it is not an RE verb. This is an irregular verb. Technically, when we learned the verb avoir, it ended in an IR, but it didn't have IR endings. You had the GAI to AAS song to learn avoir. So this is like avoir, this is like être, this is like faire. This is all like all those other irregular verbs where you just have to memorize these forms. Now, the forms are going to look familiar, and the endings are going to look familiar, but it doesn't technically follow any of those patterns. The reason why we want to learn prendre in this chapter is because prendre is used for the verb for to take, but it's also used when you take food, as in you have food. Don't think of it as taking food by stealing it, but they'll say, I'll take a hamburger, that kind of business. You could also say that you eat food or that you drink a drink and things like that, but this is a good all-purpose verb to talk about consuming or having food or drink. So let's get right down to those forms. The je form is je prends. The tu form is tu prends. The il, elle, en form is il or elle prend. Notice that they all sound the same, but the endings are slightly different as far as the je form and the tu form, both in an S, and the il, elle form doesn't have anything on it there. For the right-hand side, we have nous prenons, for we're having, vous prenez, for y'all are having, and ils or elles prennent, for they are having. I know it looks like prenant, but it's not pronounced that way. So there's lots of different ways you can use this. You can use it to ask somebody, qu'est-ce que vous prenez, which you'll see right there below the box, which is what are y'all having. And then you can use it to talk about what you yourself are having, such as nous prenons du pain et un chocolat chaud. We are having some bread and a hot chocolate. You saw this earlier in the last section whenever you would say things like pour le petit déjeuner, je prends, for breakfast I'm having. So it's kind of been previewed, but it's never been officially taught. So this is your official teaching of this verb. There are three other verbs that end in the word prendre that because of that work just like prendre. The first one is apprendre. Apprendre means to learn. So if you wanted to say I'm learning, you're learning, he's learning, j'apprends, tu apprends, il apprend. We are learning, nous apprenons. Works the same way, except it happens to have an AP in front of it to make it the verb learn instead of the verb for to take or have. Comprendre looks a lot like to comprehend, and that word in English means to understand something. So hopefully you'll remember that comprendre means to understand. Again, it works just like prendre, it just has a COM in front of it. So I understand is je comprends, we understand is nous comprenons. It just works the same as prendre, it just happens to have that COM. And then reprendre, think about how in English when you add an RE to something, when you something, you do it again. So if you reprendre something, then you have it, as in you have more of something. And we saw this in the last section with tu reprends du beurre, are you having some more butter? Or tu reprends des toasts, are you having some more pieces of toast? Or whatever it might have been. It was a way of offering somebody some more of something. Now we're just kind of coming full circle with learning how the verb is conjugated. It's technically the same as the word prendre, it just happens to have an RE in front of it. So if I'm having some more of something, je reprends. If they are having some more of something, ils reprennent, that kind of thing. At this point in time, you've got 3 questions at the bottom of your paper for you to both try writing in an actual form of the verb, and then it's almost as important to actually know what the verbs mean as well. But once you learn the forms of prendre, then you can know the forms of apprendre, comprendre, and reprendre, and it's just really a matter of worrying about the meaning. So take a moment and go ahead and try those questions down there at the bottom. Write down any questions you might have so you can come to class and ask them, and I'll see you next class.